everyone. Tonight's story is called Wemberly Worried. A couple days ago I read a book about Ruby and her worries, and she tended to worry too, and sometimes we all do, don't we? And this is called Wemberly Worried by Kevin Hanks. Wemberly worried about everything. That's a lot of things to worry about, isn't it? She worried about big things, little things, and things in between. Oh, that girl is worrying. Wemberly worried in the morning. She worried at night, and she worried throughout the day. "You worry too much," said her mother. "When you worry, I worry," said her father. "Worry, worry, worry," said her grandmother. "Too much worry." At home, Wemberly worried about the tree in the front yard. What if it falls on our house? And the crack in the living room wall? What if it gets bigger and something comes out of it? And the noise the radiators made? What if there's a snake inside there? At the playground, Wemberly worried about the chains on the swings, and the bolts on the slide, and the bars on the jungle gym. And always she worried about her doll, Petal. Shouldn't Petal have a car seat too? "Petal's lost forever. I found her, sweetie." Oh, she just was such a worrier, wasn't she? "Don't worry," said her mother. "Don't worry," said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. When Wemberly was especially worried, she rubbed Petal's ears. Wemberly worried that if she didn't stop worrying, Petal would have no ears left at all. On her birthday, Wemberly worried that no one would come to her party. "See," said her mother, "there was nothing to worry about." But then Wemberly worried that there wouldn't be enough cake. On Halloween, Wemberly worried that there would be too many butterflies in the neighborhood parade. "See," said her father, "there was nothing to worry about." But then Wemberly worried because she was the only one. "You worry too much," said her mother. "When you worry, I worry," said her father. "Worry, worry, worry," said her grandmother. "Too much worry." And Grandma's pointing to a sign. "Take it as it comes." Soon Wemberly had a new worry. School. Wemberly worried about the start of school more than anything she had ever worried about before. School starting soon. Oh dear. By the time the first day arrived, Wemberly had a long list of worries. What if no one else has spots? What if no one else wears stripes? What if no one else brings a doll? What if the teacher is mean? What if the room smells bad? What if they make fun of my name? And what if I can't find the bathroom? And what if I hate the snack? What if I have to cry? Oh, poor Wemberly. "Don't worry," said her mother. "Don't worry," said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. She worried all the way there to school. Oh my. While Wemberly's parents talked to the teacher, Mrs. Peachum, Wemberly looked around the room. Then Mrs. Peachum said, "Wemberly, there is someone I think you should meet." Her name was Jewel. She was standing by herself. She was wearing stripes. And she was holding a doll. Can you see her there? Look way up in the corner. That's Jewel. Oh. At first, Wemberly and Jewel just peeked at each other. "This is Petal," said Wemberly. "This is Niblet," said Jewel. Petal waved and Niblet waved back. "Hi," said Petal. "Hi," said Niblet. "I rub her ears," said Wemberly. "Well, I rub her nose," said Jewel. Throughout the morning, Wemberly and Jewel sat side by side, and they played together whenever they could. Petal and Niblet sat side by side too. Do you see them there? Look at it. Wemberly worried, but no more than usual, and sometimes even less. And before Wemberly knew it, it was time to go home. "Come back tomorrow," called Mrs. Peachum as the students walked out the door. Wemberly turned and smiled and waved. "I will," she said. "Don't worry." And here she is when she got home. See her, how happy she is with her mom and her daddy, telling them all about her wonderful day at school. And this is another special book called "And to Think That We Thought We'd Never Be Friends." Have you ever met someone and you thought, I don't know if we'll ever be friends? To think that we thought that we'd never be friends. I just love the paintings and the artwork in this book. One day we were playing outside in our yard when my brother got mad, and he pushed me so hard that I pushed him right back with all of my might. And quick as a wink, we were having a fight. Sometimes brothers fight, don't they? We thwacked and we whacked and we walloped away, and we still might be fighting to this very day, pinching and punching, my brother and I, if only our sister had not happened by. She was sipping some soda pop out of a cup, and she said she would share it if we would make up. And since we were thirsty and tired and sore, we each took a drink, and we ended our war. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. Oh, they're having so much fun now playing. Isn't that wonderful? That night after supper, we turned on TV, but we couldn't agree on what show we should see. I wanted one and my sister another, and both of us hated the choice of our brother. And we probably all would be arguing yet if our dad hadn't come in and turned off the set. So we put on pajamas, curled up on his bed, and he read us a wonderful story instead. It's funny how quickly an argument ends. And to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. Oh, what a great time they're having with Daddy reading to them. A day or two later, it wasn't much more. A great big new family moved in right next door. How many were in it, we couldn't quite tell, but they each played an instrument. Not very well. One played a tuba, one a bassoon. They practiced all morning and all afternoon. They practiced all evening and all through the night, and they kept us from sleeping, and that wasn't right. Whoa, that was a lot of noise, wasn't it? So we got out of bed with a hippity-hop, and we marched off together to beg them to stop. But when we arrived there, they asked us to play, and they did it so nicely that what could we say? I took a whistle, my sister a flute, and my brother a trumpet that gave a loud toot. My dad took a bugle, my mother a drum, and we all forgot totally why we had come. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. Oh, what a fun time they had with their new neighbors. Then all of a sudden we heard a loud blare as a siren came wailing from out of thin air. A police car pulled over and out jumped the police, and they told us that we were disturbing the peace. And they said if we didn't stop playing that minute, they'd take us to jail and put all of us in it. My brother got red and my sister grew pale, and everyone trembled at going to jail. Oh, they didn't realize they had been making so much noise because they were having so much fun with the new neighbors. But my mother explained that the noise we had made was because we were practicing for a parade, And she said that the siren had sounded so grand that she hoped they would ride at the head of our band. It's funny how quickly an argument ends. Now all of the police had turned into our friends. Look at that. They're all going to march in a parade, and the policemen are going to have their siren go off at the head of the parade. We marched down the street, and each person we passed loudly complained at our ear-splitting blast. They begged us to deaden our deafening din, until we invited them all, come on, join in. We offered them boxes and kettles and spoons, and once they were playing, they all changed their tunes. They all were so pleased by the music we made that they became part of our splendid parade. More and more people stepped right into place. More and more people kept up with our pace, strutting and striding and stamping their feet, marching in time to the drum's steady beat. Wow, look at all those people just having a wonderful parade, making music together. Friends who had squabbled and even stopped talking settled their differences once they were walking. They smiled at each other and marched hand in hand, keeping the beat of our wonderful band. And then we could barely believe what we saw. Dog and cat enemies marched paw in paw. And when our procession arrived at the zoo, lions and tigers joined in with us too. It's funny how quickly unfriendliness ends, and to think that we thought they could never be friends. Whoa, what fun they all had. Our music was magic, a magnet to all. As to a Pied Piper, they came at its call. And as we kept marching and tooting and drumming, the people kept coming and coming and coming. Hundreds and thousands came running to find us. Thousands and millions fell right in behind us. What a cacophony, what a commotion. Then all of a sudden, oh dear, we got to the ocean. We came to the place where the whole country ends, with hundreds and thousands and millions of friends. Oh, what could we do now? We started to fret. We couldn't keep marching without getting wet. Then just as we all began turning around, we heard a most odd and unusual sound. It wasn't a moan, and it wasn't a cry. It wasn't a groan, and it wasn't a sigh. It was more like a humming high up the scale, a whisper, a whistle, a whimper, a wail. Whoa, they all heard it. A whale? No, a whale. Yes, 100 or more, and all of them swimming straight into the shore, singing their whale songs and grinning with glee. So we jumped on their backs and sailed straight out to sea. Sharks swam around us while baring their teeth. Stingrays kept rising from underneath. But somehow the songs and the music we played convinced them to join in our ocean parade. For music is magic. It soothes and it mends. And to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. Oh, how wonderful. We crossed the wide ocean and washed up on land where people kept hearing the sound of our band. And even the ones who first came to protest soon were parading along with the rest. And it's hard to believe, but I swear it's true. By the time we were finished and finally through, and we'd all gotten back to the place we first played, the whole world was marching in one big parade. Oh, how magnificent. And before we disbanded and each went our way, we voted to march every year on that day, to march side by side with the friends we had made and the friends we'd made up with in one big parade. And from that day to this, that is just what we do, with the police siren blowing and horns tooting too, with our pots and our pans and our trumpets and drums, and everyone comes. And this is our cheer every year when it ends. Forever and ever we'll all be friends. Oh, isn't that wonderful? And they all came together. And to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. But they were, weren't they? And it's so important to be friends and to show love to other people. And I'm going to say good night. Did you catch it? Oh, did you catch them all? I hope so. Good night. I love you.
Amen.